morning, everybody. John Swift here on a very windy Saturday, December 5th, 2015. Today I'm standing in front of this racetrack gas station on State Road 70 and 30th Street East in Oneko, Florida. Better known as Bradenton, Florida. A little town. Used to be a little town, but now it's a bigger town because they're putting up giant racetrack gas stations here with mega pumps and all that stuff. But there used to be something on this site right here. Not more than 5 months ago, there used to be something here. Can you take a guess at what might have been here on this very spot? That's right, you guessed it. It was this house. This historic house was right here on this location. I would say just past this yellow tractory thing. This yellow tractory thing. Just past that was actually a 119-year-old house. And I was actually able to take video of it before they actually got demolished, which we'll talk about a little bit about later. So let's go find out a little bit more and look around and see what's here now versus what was here 5 months ago. Okay, so now we're further on the east side of the property right here from the racetrack, and there is a little landmark over here that they left here so you could remember the house by. It's more telling you about the guys who founded the company, which I believe was on this property, which at some time was a lot larger than just like the 5-acre thing that it is now, or 10 acres, whatever it is now. But it talks a little bit about the Reasoner Brothers, Plenty Ward, and Egbert N founded the oldest continually operated nursery. Plenty landed in DeSoto Point at 1881 at age 18. And it says he wrote a book there, and they started here. Let's see, I got my cheat sheet. I got another cheat sheet that I looked up online, and it talks about them starting a plant nursery and the business, and it was one of the first they were one of the first landscape architects in Florida at that time. I'm not sure the date, but I can't remember this stuff very good, so I'm gonna have to read it a little bit off here. While collecting seeds and plant varieties in Everglades in Cuba, Plenty contracted yellow fever and died in 1888 at the age of 25. Isn't that weird? Before even the 1900s he died. Egbert died in 26. What I don't have information on is who their sons were, but I know it ended up turning into the Reasoner Brothers. It says right there, the Reasoner Brothers, and the guy that owned it currently before it was sold was one of the grandsons or great-grandsons. He was a Reasoner. So let's go walk around here and see what other kinds of remnants we can find just over here that may be left over from when the house was actually here. So this place looks like it's almost just ready to open. Pretty much the parking lot's all in. I actually walked by the front of the window there, and it looks like all the stuff that should be in a store is there. They're just not open yet. I don't know what the exact date is, but I wanted to just kind of scope around a little bit here. These guys ran a plant nursery, and you can sort of see there are some really old trees in here. Easily these trees could probably be 90 to 100 years old. There's a really big giant oak right here too, right where I'm standing. And there's actually a lot more to the property than just the racetrack. Behind it there is a lot of trees, and you can see there are a lot of trees that are sort of, you'd probably call them like non-native, or because apparently these guys went on a lot of trips and actually brought a lot of species of plants. But if you look back here, you can see like a lot of palms that aren't the normal palms that you see out here. And actually we're gonna walk out back and take a look back there and see what kind of plants we can spot that were actually there. But I did read that this tree, this giant oak right here, is one of the ones that they left on purpose. And some of these, there's a nice pine tree here because they're so old. They try to keep a lot of these trees. It's a pretty massive gas station here. It looks like there's about 10 pumps there. It's one of the biggest racetracks I've ever seen. And I did read that the guys actually sold the property for $1.92 million. So there was a lot of, I'm sure, a lot of reasons why they got rid of that besides. But this place was actually on the historic register of historic places, or whatever they call that, the register. So we're gonna go take a walk around back and see what's left back there of the original building. Right now we're looking at the back of the property of the Reasoner, and I wanted to mention a couple things while I was thinking about them, because I've got my notes, and I want to mention that this was originally called the Beth Salem house. If you want to look this up on the internet and maybe read a little bit about the history, there is quite a few articles, and I think there might be some on Wikipedia actually. So look up Beth Salem, like you know, the Salem, Georgia, or wherever it is. So right now we're looking at the back of the property, and you can sort of, if you look carefully, you can actually see there's some bamboo here. There's a sort of an exotic palm. I'm not sure what kind of palm that is, but a lot of these trees are like not the kind of trees you would see in Florida, in this part of like south central Florida. And some of the palms, you know, there might be some crepe myrtles in here, so it's kind of it gives you a little hint to the fact that this used to be used as a nursery. It did say also in my research that this place was redone in 2003. So they actually, I think, used it as an office around that time. And I did shoot video in May 2nd, 2015. I was actually able to shoot video of the property before they started any work of demolition, which is really good. And if you want to see that video, I'll leave the link below this video in the description. And if you just want to look up the channel and look for it, it's Mr. John Swift 200 is my other channel, and that's where that video is. And we're actually going to take a little bit, I'm going to put some video on right now of this house before it was demolished. A couple shots that I never actually put in the original video, so this is some brand new video that hasn't been on the internet. Let's go take a look at some of this video right now. So now you know kind of what we're talking about as far as the way this place looked. It was actually a big house, and if you actually look at the picture of just the front, it wasn't that wide, but it was actually a very long house in the back. It was a two-story. It was a really cool design. Like if you go over to my other channel, Mr. John Swift 200, you can see like how I walk in to the back, and there's a kitchen back there. It was kind of a kitchen. Then it went in the dining room, then it had a front room, then it had it was really neat. What I really liked about that house, it had the dueling staircases. So it had the one staircase in the front, and then it had another staircase in the back. And if you went in the kitchen, there was actually a staircase that went up to the second floor where there was like bedrooms and things like that. And we're looking at some of the new trees here that they've planted out here. And there's actually, what you're looking at here is actually a retention pond, I think, for the drainage. For all the drainage of the water and everything. So there's the back of the racetrack building. Basically got some guys out here working on Saturday. They just about ready to open this place. Nice garbage can. So I might come back and do a little vlog of this when it does open. Maybe just for posterity, go in the store and check it out. But it can't go in now because it's actually closed. But make sure you go check out that other video, because it was just a really neat house. And when I actually was filming it, it was kind of a spooky day. It was a little windy out. I didn't really know that much about the house, if anybody was living there, and I was kind of walking around the backyard and stuff. So it was very cool. And I just thought of this the other day. So that was May 2nd. They tore it down June 30th. So almost 2 months before they tore it down. I was just did it on a whim. I was actually lucky enough to document this place and get some shots of the house and what it was. At that time, the other thing I noticed is A lot of the door moldings and the fireplace and a lot of the doors and the banisters were removed, which they did salvage part of the house. Like I said, a couple years ago, I just imagine maybe 5-6 years ago, they were using an office, so you could tell there was some office supply stuff there. We're kind of looking at the back out here where, wow, something just fell. My notes just fell down my leg. My notes are coming out the bottom of my pants. There's my notes. Now I can see my notes. They were sitting in my back pocket. Just getting a few shots here of the back of the property. It's very slanty. It looks like they did build up the land, because you look behind me, you can see it's built up here. But some of the shots of the former property of the nursery, like I said, if you really look close, you can sort of tell that this isn't your ordinary wooded area, because they planted a lot of stuff out here. When I was out here, I could see a lot of the pots that they planted and stuff. But I don't know what kind of plants these are, but you can tell this is just not the normal. What you normally have is oak trees and pine trees and palms and stuff like that. So it's just a little hint to what was here before. Unfortunately, they had to get rid of the house. It was a beautiful house. I guess just an unfortunate amount of circumstances for the Reasoner family. Wasn't able to keep it. I really don't know much about what the Reasoner family. I believe that they still have the Royal Nursery business, which was formerly the Reasoner brothers. And can you imagine having a business since 1888? I think is that what I said it was? But it's right on the chart. You can see a little bit more of those big palms back there were probably not originally there. They were probably planted. I don't know what kind of plants. I don't know what kind of plants there. I'm having a tough time walking on this new sod because it's like rocks. It's big chunks of sod. I'm trying not to fall down. Anyway, kind of a last look at formerly what used to be here on this property. I'm trying to think if there's any facts I need to give you about this place that were interesting. I believe that they said if I didn't mention this before, these Reasoner brothers were the first landscape architects. First landscape architects in Florida. So I don't know if that's I'm sure there were people that were doing landscaping, but maybe they were just formally or recognized as a landscape architect, and maybe you need a degree for that or certification. I don't know. It was a long time ago. So just a really sort of sad but place to remember. I'm trying to get my thoughts out. Maybe I'm a little emotional right now. Maybe that's what it is. I'm a little emotional, even though I'm laughing. It's sad that place could not be saved, because I would be wagered a guess that it was probably one of the oldest places in Bradenton. And to give you an idea, the country was founded, in the area of Philadelphia, 300 years ago, but people, I don't think, started only coming to Florida that I know of, early 1800s, and the town was only incorporated probably in the 1900s, the early 19th century. So Florida compared to the rest of the country is a very young area. So it isn't like we have homes around here from the 1700s and the 1800s like Washington, D.C. or Philadelphia or Boston, where people were living for hundreds of years. I think that's one of the things that people don't know that much about Florida, is it's a relatively young part of the United States. Not that there weren't people here, there were Indians here also. So a last look at this place. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, go check that video out. I think it's called 100-Year-Old Manor, Abandoned Manor. I think that's what I called it. But I will put the link below this video so you can check that out and see that video of what the house used to be like. I'm glad you guys came with me today. I hope the sand just blew in my eyes. I hope you somewhat enjoyed this video and the sand blowing in my eyes. Hey guys, I also have a merch place. Check down below in the description for my merchandise. And I'll be doing more videos, and I'll be seeing you next week. So I'm looking forward to it. Have a great weekend, you guys. As always, be good. We'll see you.
Please like and subscribe.
Look everybody, it's an old tire. I wonder if the Egbert Reisner actually used this tire right here. Maybe. It's a possibility. Maybe he used this bamboo. Maybe he touched, it's possible he touched this actual bamboo right here that I'm touching with my hand. And I actually am touching history right here. Unbelievable. Right here. But you could still come down here at 30th Street East in Bradenton and see and read a little bit about this area. It was a lot larger, but some of it there's actually more information. I don't know. The mouth is not, the brain is working, but the mouth is not following the brain, so we're going to try this again. Right here, standing next to me, way in the back of the property, is a pine tree. Looks like it's only about 10-15 feet high. Is sort of signaling the next cycle of life of progress, denoting the fact that 100 years ago there was a thriving business here, and now this tree gets to carry on the tradition, growing and being a big, strong pine tree. Hopefully we'll grow many, many, many pine cones and have little squirrel families growing in these pine trees right here, continuing the circle of life here on the former Reisner property. Circle of life.